As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. But at what point are you going to resolve the resentment? At some point, you need to be the one going through something.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Paul Goss is suing tavern owner Justin Kramer in the amount of $7,000. Mr. Goss claims he was fired from his bartending job and says it was because Mr. Kramer had a problem with him moonlighting at a nearby drag bar.
All right, Mr. Goss, you're suing Mr. Kramer for $7,000 for wrongful termination of employment. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I love the color of this jacket.
Oh,
amazing
thank you.
color. What is that color called, do you think?
I think it's lime, chartreuse. It's my favorite color.
Maybe chartreuse, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so what were you doing for the defendant?
I was a bartender for 2 years.
For 2 years. How did you meet him in the first place, sir?
I needed to fill a position, and I had a sign in the window of my bar and tavern, and Paul walked in.
So how long did you have this bar?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah,
what type of bar is it?
It's really a wholesome, almost a family-friendly bar.
How's it a family-friendly bar?
Well, we serve food.
After 3 drinks, though, but a bar.
Yeah.
And you've had it for 10 years?
Yes.
So he comes in, he applies for the job.
Yes.
As a bartender?
Yes.
And what type of bartender was he? Was he a good bartender?
Yes, he came in with a lot of experience.
Right.
His references checked out. I had him make some drinks for me when he came in to apply. And when he started out working for me, he was a good bartender.
Okay, so what was your experience in bartending before him?
I'd worked in several local bars. Prior to moving to Texas, I was back in Maryland, and I worked at several places there as well. So very well-rounded and diverse in the places and the locations.
Okay, so you start working, and you worked there for how long before things started being a problem?
Well, I was looking for a second job from the minute I got hired, because it was only 4 nights a week.
Okay. You wanted more hours, more time.
Yeah, I needed more money. I'm a gig worker, gotta keep that money in your pocket.
Right.
But I would say it was towards the end of the time when I got my job at the new bar is when I noticed the change.
But how long had you been working for the defendant when you found this new job?
Oh, maybe 4 months or so when I finally got the new job.
You had a new job. Mm-hmm. Okay, where was this new job?
It was at another bar down the road called Divas.
Divas, okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of bar is Divas?
It's a drag bar, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you became a bartender in a drag bar?
Well, I wasn't bartending full-time there. I was serving the occasional drink on the side, but mostly I was participating in the shows. We have bingo every Wednesday, and I was drawing numbers, which was so fun.
Okay. Were you a drag queen at this place?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you dress in drag?
Uh-huh. Yeah, my drag name is Tawanda.
Tawana?
Yeah.
Okay, Tawana. All right, so did this become a problem for you?
You know what my employees do on their own time when they're not at the bar and tavern is their business. They can do whatever they want.
Okay, so how did everything become a problem?
Well, what became the problem is that Paul, or Tawanda, however he calls himself, wanted certain days off and changed the schedule, and I tried to accommodate my employees the best that I can.
Right.
But I have some evidence here, Your Honor, which is the standard contract that I have with my
employees. Okay, let me see the standard contract. What were the days you were working with him originally?
It was 4 days a week.
Yeah, which days were those days?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. All right, and did you request days different from this?
I had to take off the Wednesdays and Sundays when I got the new job, because we have the bingo on Wednesdays, of which I was the host, and then performing on Sundays.
So did you tell him I can no longer work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday?
Yes. I said I couldn't work Wednesday and Sunday. Those were the changes that had to take effect.
No, I can no longer work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday. As we agreed, I need Wednesday and Sunday off.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. In fact, I have an email that I sent to him where he not only shows that he received it, he acknowledged it and says it was okay.
Okay, so is that true?
It's true. I did send that email.
Let me see the email.
And And
Please.
at the time that he asked for it, it was okay.
Right.
But then shortly after that, one of my other bartenders quit, and they filled that Wednesday, Sunday spot. So as you can see in the agreement, there's no guarantee of hours or schedules or days. I do the best I can, but it's really complex, and he was making it a nightmare for me. And
Well,
so-
how many different times did he change the schedule for you?
Oh, it was like almost every week he had different
That's a
times
lie,
he
Your
wanted to
Honor.
come in.
It was just the once, the documented one time.
Coming up on Supreme Justice.
I overheard another employee telling him about Paul working at Divas.
Right.
It was something like, oh great, Paul's working at that she-male bar. I hope he doesn't bring any of that clientele over here.
And later,
This was our costume that we were going to win, but she bailed on me.
Okay, what was the contest, ma'am?
It was a Halloween costume contest.
Supreme Justice is back with the case of Paul Goss, who is suing Justin Kramer for wrongful termination.
So this time when you requested the change in schedules, the only time you requested a change?
Yeah, and it was fine up until about 2 months after that.
Let me read the email. I want to let you know that as of next week, I can no longer work on Wednesdays and Sundays, but I'm happy to pick up other shifts. And you wrote back, okay, no problem.
Right, Your
right?
Honor.
So he basically said, I'm done with Wednesdays and Sundays. And you said, okay, no problem.
And as I said, Your Honor, at the time it was okay,
Right.
but things change. I run a business
Okay,
there. And
so-
when I lost my bartender, I needed someone to fill in those times.
Okay, so you needed somebody to do Wednesdays and Sundays.
Yes.
Because you lost the bartender another bartender that was doing Wednesdays and Sundays.
Exactly.
So why didn't you hire somebody else to do Wednesdays and Sundays? Remember, you had a guy doing Wednesdays and Sundays in place of Tawana here. Remember?
Yes, that's true.
So why didn't you just hire somebody else?
I needed someone, at least in the short term, to fill those spots. I
Right.
couldn't leave it open until I brought somebody in.
Did he ask you to fill those spots?
He did not, Your Honor. There were other employees that could have. He just put me on the schedule.
What happened? Tell me what happened.
Well, after 2 months of getting exactly what I asked for, no problem, no
Right.
questions asked, suddenly it shifted. He was scheduling me specifically Wednesdays and Sundays, and I do have the schedules here if you would like to see
let
them.
me see the Wednesdays and Sundays. I mean, yes. So did you start back just scheduling him out of the blue for Wednesdays and Sundays?
No, I scheduled it because when I lost another bartender, I needed someone to fill that spot, and so
Right.
I put him in it.
You said you were okay for like 2 months of this new schedule, but you're no longer working Wednesdays and Sundays. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did something happen during that 2-month time, between that beginning of that 2-month period of time and when he put you back on the schedule? Did something happen?
Well, I didn't think much of it at the time. He had mentioned that new job of yours. It's the place down the street.
Right.
So I knew in that moment that he knew that I was working at Divas.
Okay.
I didn't know that it was going to be the issue that it was.
Right.
But at that point, that's when my hours started being the days that I couldn't work, and I tried to cover my shifts, as he said. But
Right.
other employees are only willing to do that so much.
Right.
Before they're like, why can't you work your shifts? And they don't want
Right.
to help you.
But you knew what the rule was. You can't leave me high and dry like
So
that.
you're thinking that because he found out that you were working at Divas, that he now wanted to make things difficult for you?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't think anything of it at the time when he made that comment, but later it came to my attention that he was commenting on
Who told you that?
a coworker of
Is
mine.
that coworker here?
Yes, she is. Her name is Sarah.
Who's
She's
that
here.
person?
Her name is Sarah. She's my witness. She's here today.
Okay, let me get the name. Sarah what? Sarah Crump?
Sarah, yeah,
All
Sarah
right,
Crump.
court call Sarah Crump. You know Sarah Crump?
Yes, I do. She was one of my bartenders.
Come forward, Ms. Crump, and be sworn. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, stand over there, would you please, next to the plaintiff. So, Ms. Crump, did you work for this defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long did you work for the defendant?
About 2 years.
2 years of working for. What was it like working for him?
Kind of a tightwad, kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but
Now, did you have a chance to overhear any conversations that the defendant made or had about the plaintiff?
yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
So I was walking to the back office, and I overheard another employee telling him about Paul working at at Divas.
Right.
And it was something like, oh great, Paul's working at that she-male bar. I hope he doesn't bring any of that clientele over here.
Did you make the statement?
I did make the statement, Your Honor.
Okay.
How people live their lives is their business.
Right, but you're not comfortable being around people who identify as gay.
I would admit, yes, that I am not comfortable with it,
Right.
but that had no bearing on the fact that I terminated Paul.
So what's the $7,000?
The $7,000 is what I would have made during the time that I worked for him. I made $18 an hour,
Right.
plus tips.
Right.
So in that time, I would have roughly made about $4,000, double that for the time period, about $8,000.
Okay,
I'm being generous.
it took you 2 months to find another job. So is that yes?
Yeah.
So you're asking for the $7,000, which represents what you would have made in those 2 months that
Had
you
I
weren't
been
working.
rightfully working, yes.
Right. Well, you know, Texas is an at-will employment state. I mean, you can fire people for any reason at all, except for discrimination based on race, religion, sexual orientation. And it sounds to me like you discriminated here.
If I could further that point.
When you're winning, don't talk.
Okay.
When you're winning, just don't talk.
Okay.
Okay? It seems to me that this was based on what happened to him. You gave him a straight out, okay, no problem. No caveat here. Oh, you know that if the schedule changes, I might have to put you back on, nothing like that. Okay, no problem. And then the statement about the whole she-male thing, in your own statements just now, you put him in a position of him losing his job. And I'm ready to rule. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $7,000. Good luck to you.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $7,000.
This is why he fired me. And I'm glad things worked out the way they did today.
Justice was not served here today. It was only terminated because he was a poor employee, and Texas is an at-will employment.
Coming up,
There were definitely like 200, 300 people. And I have a little bit of social anxiety. I don't love going out in like big crowds.
Right.
And she knew that.
Ava Lincoln is suing her former friend, Julie Davies, in the amount of $2,450. Ms. Lincoln claims she and Ms. Davies earned a winning spot in a costume contest and says the defendant bailed before the prize money was awarded.
Ms. Lincoln, you're suing Ms. Davies for $2,450 for breach of contract. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And this had to do with some sort of costume contest.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you know the defendant?
I know her because she's actually my ex-friend. We were supposed to do this whole
How long
costume-
had you been friends before this incident?
We've been friends for 3 years now.
Okay. How'd you meet her, ma'am?
We met her in college. We both went to UCLA.
Oh, okay. And were you a group of friends?
We were like two groups that meshed. Like we met each other at a house party, and it was like
Okay.
a friend of a friend. You know, we were the last ones left there, and we were like, I guess we could start hanging out.
All right. So how do we get here?
So let me start from the beginning. I love Halloween. Halloween is literally my Christmas. I make costumes for pretty much everyone. I do like a online business
Right.
on Instagram, and
What
everybody
is your
knows me.
online business?
It is K-Liz Clothing.
So what kind of clothing? It's all costumes.
It's costumes, clothing, it's everything. I like to make my own clothing because I grew up not having a lot.
Did you make this outfit here?
I did make this.
Okay.
This was our costume that we were going to win, but she bailed on me.
Okay, what was the contest, ma'am?
It was a Halloween costume contest.
Okay, and what was what is this costume for Halloween?
So this is my Britney and Justin look from the
Okay.
2001 American Music Awards.
Okay, it is what Britney Spears wore?
Yes.
And who? Justin Bieber?
No, Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake, well, what did he wear?
Well, he wore the same thing. It's all
Oh, they
denim.
both had on the same outfit. You remember
Well,
this?
Not
I had a big jacket. I had male jeans. She actually made it for her boyfriend, who bailed on her. And me being a good friend, I was like, you know what? I have no Halloween plans. I'd love to go with you.
Coming up,
See, we made top 10. We
Okay.
made top 5. We even made top 3.
Okay, y'all made
But
top 3.
We made top 3.
You made top 3.
We made top 3.
Supreme Justice is back with the case of Ava Lincoln, who is suing Julie Davies for breach of contract.
So we get to this event. Tell me what happens at the event.
So we get to the event. She asked me to drive. I don't mind. I drive. We're running a few minutes late, and I'm like, hey, why don't you pop out and get us in the check-in line? I'll park. So I find parking for like 20 minutes. We're at the Americana in Glendale the day before Halloween. She
Right.
said it was like, 50 to 100 people. There were definitely like 200, 300 people. And I have a little bit of social anxiety. I don't love going out in like big crowds.
Right.
And she knew that.
Well, how did the judges judge these costumes that they're seeing?
The audience actually, like everybody else that's there, they judge it. So we all put it into the raffle and pick who wins it.
And then see, we made top 10, we made top 5, we even made top 3.
Okay, y'all made top 3.
We made top 3.
You made top 3.
We made top 3.
So the top 3 were all going to get a prize. The question was how much?
Exactly.
Okay, so top prize was how much?
$2,000.
$2,000. Second place was how much?
$1,000.
$1,000. And third place was how much?
$500.
$500. Okay, so what happened?
She bailed. She got into her emotions and she said she couldn't handle it and she left.
So you get to top 3, you feel anxiety, and what happens? So you tell them leaving?
Yeah, I say, Ava, I really don't feel good. I think I should leave. And instead of her giving me like a pep talk,
why should she give you a pep talk?
She doesn't need to give me a pep talk, but she started yelling at me and said I was the selfish one. I was the one that's like ruining this for her. I should just step up and be a friend. And at that point, I was like, she's not listening to my emotions. You're not being my friend. And so I just got overwhelmed and I left.
How long did it take you to make the outfits?
15 hours for both.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns.
Didn't you know that she had put a lot into these outfits?
I mean, she had told me, I know that she plans them, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ahead of time. But like I said, I was like the 5th person on her list. It wasn't like, you're my person this year. We're doing this contest together. She tried to do her boyfriend.
You knew you were the 5th person on her list.
I was the 5th person. She told me that.
You knew that, excuse me, you knew that you were the 5th person on her list when you agreed to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you've known her a long time, right?
Yes.
And everything that she is or you think she could be, you know that because she's your friend, you told me. Is that right?
Yes.
So there should have been no surprise about the way she behaved. She went ahead and she made these costumes. You went there and you had an obligation to see it through. Can you see why you had an obligation to see it through?
Yes.
Okay. So now we don't know if you would have won first place, second place, or third place. But you were going to win one of these. So I'm taking the average of those 3, which is $1,200. In your sworn affidavit, you stated that you intended that she would get the total winnings. Is that true? That's why I'm giving her the $1,200. I'm not splitting it in 2. All right? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,200. Good luck to you.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,200.
Julie left me. She literally left me abandoned when she knew I needed her the most.
It's sad because I just wanted Ava to see that friendship is worth more than money and winning.